Hi there, folks. How you doing? Hope you're all good. I just wanted to do a wee short video today. I've had a few people recently when I'm talking about bringing their properties on. They've said to me, "Yeah, yeah, ready to go. I just need to get the property ready before letting you come out to photograph it." So that's absolutely fine. So I just thought to have a look at what getting a property ready for auction actually looks like, um, and how that differs sort of across the board, if you like, from what one person would do to maybe another person, and what um, people maybe just don't know what to do, how much they need to do, etc. So where I'd probably start if I had a property and I was going to put to auction tomorrow, the first thing I would probably want to do is clean it. Now, I don't mean that to sound insulting to people because I'm sure everyone's got a lovely clean house anyway. What I suppose I'm talking about is if maybe you've got a rental property that the tenants left and it's maybe not in great condition, or possibly you've inherited a property that's maybe not in the sort of condition that you would have your own home in. Now, so when we talk about cleaning and stuff as well, it's obviously I don't need to tell people how to clean a house, but what one of the sort of the benefits from giving a place a good clean and tidy out is you've got a terrific opportunity to declutter it there as well. Obviously, it goes without saying that the less things are in the room or in the house, the bigger it'll look, the brighter it'll look, and essentially the better and more appealing it will look. So that's why I would generally always start off with a bit of a clean, a clear, a declutter of it. This is so important, and one of the reasons why I've mentioned that as well. I have in the past heard people say, "Sorry, you don't need to clean up or tidy up or anything like that. It's an auction sale, so there's no requirement to do so." Now, legally, they're probably correct. When someone buys at auction, it's sold at scene. So if a buyer takes over a property that is dirty, then it's tough for them to an extent. What the reason why it's so important though is, in terms of making it appealing for any prospective buyers. It's amazing the difference a tidy property with no clutter and just cleared out, and it can look like a different sort of proposition altogether, if you're making the most of the property. Having one instance heard of one of an old colleague of mine visiting a property, and it was great, it was fine, there was no issues with it really. And going back to photograph it a few weeks later, and the person had deliberately made a mess of the house. They'd got stuff in the cupboards and thrown it across the floor and things like that, just because they thought that's what some auction properties should look like. So please don't do that. As I say, it's a very general rule of thumb. Just the tidier it can look and the cleaner and things like that. That's the better to say. I'm sure that'll be very, very obvious to some, but as I said, in my experience, it's not always the case that people think you need to essentially do that for an auction sale. So that's the first thing I would say. Give it a good clean, tidy, declutter. One thing also, just before we move on to the next thing, when selling a house, having a bit of personality in it is no bad thing. So although I'm saying declutter it and throw things out, if there's a few homely objects there that make it look like a nice home, then that's not the worst thing in the world. If it's as long as it's all nice stuff. If you've got a scabby old sofa or mattress on the floor, then get rid of it. But if there's things that are in okay condition, make the place look nice and lived in and habitable, then yeah, it just you keep it there, but declutter it. So I suppose it's get rid of the stuff that's not nice, leave what's nice, and get the place looking as bright, clean, and big as possible. That would be the first thing I would look at doing if I was putting my property to auction tomorrow. So the next thing, and this is probably a bit more of a grey area, is decorating it. Now, there's no question that a well decorated, nice house is likely to be more appealing. So that's absolutely fine. If you've got the means, the time, and it's economical for you to do so, then terrific. What Where I would add the sort of caveat to that is though, just be careful what you're doing to decorate a property. What I mean by that is if you've got a house that needs a new kitchen or needs a new bathroom to your average Joe Blogs on the street, such as myself as well, it would cost thousands and thousands of pounds for a nice new kitchen or a nice new bathroom to get put in and decorate the house from top to bottom. That's not always reflected in the sale value. So I would think long and hard about how much you're going to spend on your decoration and refurb of your property before selling it, and how much value that's really going to add. Um, Especially particular auction when people are looking for buying properties, sometimes small blemishes can almost, in the eyes of the prospective buyer, they can have a look at that and go, do you know what, I can add a bit of value to this property here. And they can, if they're especially living in a trade or if they've got contacts that do this a lot, they'll be able to do it a fraction of the price that you or I could probably do it for. So just always be mindful of the fact that spending £10,000 on a kitchen doesn't necessarily mean that you will increase the value of your property by £10,000. So just really have a think about what is that needs done, what's the sort of essential work that needs done, what the property would really benefit from, and what economically makes sense to do so. Um, Again, as a sort of very rough general rule of thumb, if you like, I tend to sort of go on the premise that if you can give it a wee lick of paint to freshen it up, make it look a bit nicer, then that's generally enough. Although I realise it's a very vague topic there because every property will be in different conditions. So there's not obviously a hard and fast rule for every occasion. But as a general rule of thumb, if you can get away with just a wee lick of paint, then great. Even to stretch that though further, if you've not got the time or if you've not got the resources, or if you're not good at that kind of thing, then I wouldn't worry too much about that. As I say, it's people for the most part can see past it, and can sort of use an imagination to see what it would like. And as I say, people can also like to see properties that add value to the property. So not always a bad thing. Suppose with everything I'm covering today, it's just a case of trying to make the property look as appealing as possible for what financially what makes sense. So yeah. So I think the first two things so far, I would say clean the property, declutter it, make it look homely if you can, give it a fresh lick of paint. But before you go into a mass renovation or decoration program, think about what makes sense financially. And probably the last sort of topic that I would go into maybe is first impressions count. Now this is the same with if in the auction industry or the open, if you're buying open market or selling open market, anything, it's first impressions really do count. So if you've got a flat or a property that that maybe got communal areas, for example, just have a wee think what that person or any prospective buyer will think as they turn the corner into your sphere. You know, if there's lots of stuff lying about the garden, or if there's a communal area that's not very nice, the fact that maybe it's not your turn to do that, or maybe it wasn't you that left that buggy lying in the front garden, that's neither here nor there really, because you want to make the place look as appealing as possible. So I would, the first thing we do is look at communal areas. If there's anything you can do to tidy them up, maybe mow the front lawn or something, even if it's not your turn. So yeah, so communal areas. Think about what the place will look like from the outside to any prospective buyers. Bear in mind as well is that people, even if they're not doing viewings, I think a lot of people would probably drive past the house and try and get a feel for what it looks like from the outside before deciding whether to offer or not. So if you can get the communal areas out sorted, then that's a great start. Other things that are important, things such as windows being clean, things like that. Really, it's just I think the term is curb appeal, depending on if you're in Scotland or America or how you want to pronounce it. But yeah, that's something which is really important. So if you can look at getting the windows clean, communal areas, sorted out. Possibly even if you can, I don't know, without want to take it too far, if you can get sort of wee flowers or plants or something on the outside, just get people getting a right good feel for the property before they go in. It really can make a huge difference. Means that they're going into the property potentially um, feeling positive about it, which is really ideally what you're looking for. So yeah, so obviously once they're if they've got good first impressions, they go into the house and it's looking nice and bright, and then it's all been cleaned and cleared and decluttered. Then it's a really good way to get going with selling your property. And the things which I've discussed, as I say, they're not expensive things to do most of the time, and it's just wee quick wins that you can do that can make your property look a lot more appealing. And as I say, I touched on at the start of this video that there is a sort of misconception out there that it's auction doesn't mean that you can be in any condition. Which, as I say, once the property's sold, that's fine. But if you want to get the property sold, you want to give as good a chance as you can for getting as high a value as you can, without going to any or as much expense as you may maybe fear, or maybe you'd feel obliged to an open market. So well, as I said, I think that covers most of what I was wanting to go over today. So, just as a wee quick recap, so you want to clean and declutter, you want to decorate to a sensible level that's not going to, um, what would you call it? That's not going to end up costing you more in terms of how it'll add on to the sale value of the house. But a fresh lick of paint wouldn't go amiss sometimes. And finally, first impressions count. So do what you can to maximise how people will feel when they first see your property. So yeah, as I say, hopefully that's useful. If you want to give me a call to discuss it, or if there's anything you think I've missed out, you could give me a bell. My number's 0131 322 8550. Or you could send me an email, which is info@greendoorpropertyauctions.co.uk, as well as checking out our website, which is again www.greendoorpropertyauctions.co.uk. We are also on the social media, so you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So yeah, any likes, follows, shares, retweets, subscribes, you know the drill. Anything like that is very much appreciated. Thanks, guys. All the best. Cheers. Bye now.